large.
No, venti is 20.
Danny.
Yeah. Large is large. In fact, tall is large, and grande is Spanish for large. Venti's the only one that doesn't mean large. It's also the only one that's Italian. Congratulations, you're stupid in 3 languages.
Honey, that's great coffee. It's
Smell good ground coffee.
Okay, buddy, what do you think of Wilkins coffee? I never tasted it. Now, what do you think of Wilkins?
It's delicious. Well, I am back. I'm not sure how I'm feeling right now. I'm feeling old. My body's hurting so bad this morning. But I am here. Good morning, Dr. Dragon. Das Wolfen is here. Kingsport Cal. Let's see who else is here already. The lovely Sherry. Good morning, Sherry. What did she... We got some stuff going on here. Oh, that's to you. Let's see, who else is here? Kylock is here. Hello, Kylock. How are you doing? Keith is here. Keith, did I not send you an invite? I'll send you an invite. Got to keep, look, man. There's some big news today, and I don't want to be guilty of the same thing, that the creator of Friends was. I don't want to ever have to atone for my sins for having a white-only cast. So, here we go. Sending you an invite now, Keith. Okay. Well, wait a minute. You can join me. You have admin privs, Keith. You just come into the... Never mind. I'll just send you an invite. He's like a vampire. He won't show up unless you invite him. He's Count Chocula. I don't know. He might be busy this morning. Keith, I sent you the invite on Facebook. I'm about to sleep, but feeling super dizzy due to some issues, but just wanted to stop by. All right, man, get some rest. Is it your medication? I know when I was on one medication a couple years back, I was always dizzy from it. Oh, I just heard a Facebook thing, so... Oh, no, it's Keith. He's on his way. So, the first of my friends. I've invited, of course, Floral and Danny and Fat Steven. Oh, and I also imported... Man, I can't even fucking talk this morning. Yes, we need to prove it. Well, you know it. I'm sure you were watching Kingsport, Cal. It's like when we did the show, Tremendicon, like all my black friends showed up from Springfield. So it was like, yay! So much fun, man. God, I really enjoyed that show. It was nice seeing a lot of my old friends. So we are live, by the way, if you guys didn't know, we're live on Facebook as well as on YouTube. And so I don't know if you guys can see it, but every once in a while a comment will come in from Facebook. She really is lovely. Lovely. Lovely, Sarah. It's my prim and proper English accent. Yeah, because we were talking last night. She likes doing English accents. Hey, how are you doing? I like to do James Mason. If you guys remember James Mason, he was the great English actor. He was the familiar in the miniseries Salem's Lot that helped the vampire and ran the antique shop. All right, man. Just get some rest, buddy. Your health is more important than you sticking around. I mean, on the show. I want you sticking around. Just get some rest. Man, the way I phrase things, I often go, what the fuck? Why did I say that? Or why did I say it that way? That it can be misconstrued as, God. I swear. Good morning, Facebook user. It doesn't say who you are. I don't know why. StreamYard kind of blows. We allow you to stream to both, but then they don't tell us who the user is. So, StreamYard's a bunch of jerks. Speaking of jerks, Mr. Tickle Truck is here. I love you, buddy. Dead. D-E-D, dead. Oh, it's Stephanie. Oh, hi, Stephanie. How you doing? You know what I really liked? She had posted something, and I connected her with one of my oldest friends. He and Vic Armstrong, who's going to be here Saturday. He's going to be on the show Saturday. Are two of my oldest friends, other than Jim Woodward. Jim Woodward is my second oldest friend, but two of my oldest friends, they're just not on Facebook or Twitter, so I just don't get to talk to them anymore. I get to talk to Bennett Sumner's wife, because Bennett is my second oldest friend, and then my oldest friend is Brian Hovey. And Brian and I used to talk all the time on Facebook, but then he just sort of like faded into the walls, and just disappeared. But I introduced Michael Beatty, who is one of my oldest friends, to Stephanie Beatty, and they are distant relatives. So I thought that was kind of cool. So one of my Springfield friends got to meet one of my Fredericksburg friends, and they're somehow related. Yeah, that story was so worth it. I'm sorry, guys. I don't meet up. So cockroaches were everywhere. Oh, ew. Now, just so you know, Stephanie goes to do investigations and hauntings. So it's a cool thing she does. I don't know how to feel about that, Kingsport Cal. It's not a great nickname. It's like one of my best friend's wife. I never really liked her, and she did something. She was trying to close a door with her shoulder blades, and the way she did it, she had like little boy cups, little tiny boobs, but the way she was trying to close it with her shoulder, but pinching her shoulder blades on the door, made it look like she was trying to make her boobs more pronounced. So I gave her and she loved the nickname Tits McGee. And then I have my buddy who's a cop in Lebanon, Missouri. His wife, Holly, I call her, for years I called her No Ass. What's up, No Ass? And then when she got pregnant the second time, she got an ass. And I'm like, all right, you got a little bit of an ass. So we'll just call you a little bit of ass, a little bit. I doubt I'm going to, Stephanie. I'd like to go to the Pythian, but I just my work schedule is chaotic this summer because of the fucking move. I cannot believe it's been a year since the fire as of next week. it'll have been a year since the fire, and still everything's unsettled. And I'm getting to the point where I'm getting fed up with it. Yeah, no ass, and then a little bit, because she got a little bit of ass. I wish I could, because I'd love to do that. And I told you where I want to go, because I worked on that movie, Albino Farm. I helped on one of the stunts at the end of the film, and a gag. And I'd never heard of Albino Farm, and I found out it's a real place right here in Missouri. And so one of my best friends and I have talked about it for years, trying to get permission to go there to do a sleepover on that property and see what happens. But I ain't afraid of no ghost. I've been in places that are haunted, and I don't believe in intelligent hauntings. But I've had a joke, Stephanie, for years that said, if intelligent hauntings are real, I have proof that they're real. And the answer to that is, have you ever heard of a haunted mobile home? No, you're too smart for that. I don't know if they do or don't. I don't normally comment on them. It's just not something I do. But I have very good relationships with some of the women that are married to the men in my life. And I have a tendency of finding that button and pushing it. It's the thing I do. It's my thing. And they tend to really get a kick out of it when I do it. Because it ends up getting brought up when we hang out again. It's like, well, what do you think now? I'm pregnant. Look at that. That's what she did. Holly did that. I got an ass now. Serious. I say things and they become splinters underneath people's fingernails, where they bring it up later. Oh wait, I was reading it. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that about. So they're saying that it's not a real thing. Well, I'm curious. I am curious. I am too. I mean, come on. Yep, the next one. Junk in the Trunk Club. Amen. Lifelong member. So, I dated this girl that was a model, and she was just too thin, and it really bugged me, and it didn't work out. During one of our dates, I made a Gilligan's Island reference, and she didn't get it, and I'm like, yeah, this relationship's not going to work. It's not going to work. I have to be able to make my references and not have you confused. Like, what does that mean? When you are sarcastic and give people a hard time, it means you like them. If you didn't like them, you wouldn't bother. There you go. That's really what it is. And this week, I'm not going to say who it was. Martin knows who it is. A lot of my friends know who it is. I blocked this person. I tried really hard. I had the person on the show, and it was one of the. I almost quit doing the show because of their behavior on the show. And then I posted something about when you're doing a military thing, if you're going to involve the military in any way, you need an advisor. I don't care how small it is. Get a fucking advisor. Make sure everything's done correctly. Because I was complaining that in episode 3 of The Boys, one, the writing wasn't very good in that episode when they went back to the 80s and dealing with the Contras and all that shit. I was just really annoyed at how the entire scene was. The characters were dumb. There wasn't one smart character. Everybody was stupid. And you got this one character walking around all hoity-toity like they were the cock of the walk. And they were a fucking moron in the entire scene. Completely pointless and useless. And acting like they were combat effective and they weren't shit. And so I just sort of criticized it and said that's entire scene could have been better. I was very unimpressed with the filmmaking, the acting, everything. It was just not very good. And a certain person popped in and says, well, it's just a stupid scene. We'll make a big deal out of it. And I'm like, that's what all of this is all about, is making a deal out of stuff that's stupid. If you're not going to, add something to the conversation, why are you bothering to comment on it? And I said, and if your stance is really that, your statement is ridiculous and pointless. Is that really what you're saying? And then the person's like comes back at me, like, you want to debate? Sounds like you want to debate. And I'm like, I don't debate stupid. I mean, you would have to be stupid to debate stupid. So I blocked and banned him. I banned him off the channel. I banned him from every one of my Facebook and Twitter, my 2 Twitter accounts. I banned him from my Facebook page. I don't ever want to fucking talk to this guy again. He's part of our supposed community, and I think he's a complete fucking buffoon. My dad taught me, my grandfather technically taught me, because it was a lesson my grandfather taught him, so he handed it down to me, is don't ever argue with stupid or crazy. You can't get anywhere with them. What are you doing it for? What's the point? And often the warning came, crazy and stupid are the same person. Because in order to be that stupid, you got to be a little fucking crazy. Well, exactly, Mr. Tickletrunk. And he was like trying to egg me on, and I just fucking went, I'm not going to take time for you. No, I've got important shit to do. I'm working on books. I'm working on a movie, 2 movies, and going to debate you. I'm going to debate a stupid stance. At least have a fucking stance that's worth debating, and then ask me to debate, not a stupid one. Just a stupid scene. A stupid show. Fuck off. And I hate that, because I gave this person 2 years to try to get their shit together. And complete fucking moron. What a moron. I'm reminded that when I was a kid, teenager, I had to fly out of New York to go to Europe. And it was during the trash strike of 77. Oh my God. That place, New York City, stank so bad. Piles of trash going down the street, piled up as high as the second window in some places. And oh my God, man. I had the greatest taxi driver. We were afraid. My dad and I were afraid we were going to be late to the flight. And that guy, at one point, because the power went out. That was another thing that just happened. They were having brownouts, and the lights weren't working. So he would get out and direct traffic, and then get back in the cab and drive through once it got to his turn. I love this taxi driver. And he yelled at one guy, and I'll never forget this. I'll never forget it. He yelled out, "Hey, stupid. You know why you're stupid? Because you're stupid." I fucking love that. You know why you're stupid? Because you're stupid. What's this? The boys proves that Jensen Ackles should be the next Wolverine. Jensen is the guy that plays the Captain America character, right? I can't remember.
Hey.
What's up? Jensen Ackles. That's the guy that plays the Army
Soldier Boy.
Soldier
Yeah.
Boy. Yeah.
You know what?
So
Let me
he would
just
make
say
a good
this.
Wolverine.
He would be good if the entire cast of X-Men are definitely going to be the age that they are in the comics right now. So if they want to cast younger, that's not going to work. You know, when you're dealing with large casts, you do have to think about the ages of the actors, and you also have to think about how long they can play the part. Those are all things that you have to consider when casting anyone. And remember,
Yeah, because you want that 10-year window.
That's right. Jensen Ackles is a good age, but can he do the 10 years?
I think he could. I think he can pull off. I think he's right in that window. But hey, I forgot to say good morning to Real Wade Nation. How are you doing, my friend? Good to see you. See, you guys, like you guys that are in my chat, you prove every day how awesome. Oh, good morning, awesome one. Speaking of awesome, because I don't know if you heard Keith. There was a certain person we know, and I banned him from the channel.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
I blocked him on Twitter and on Facebook. I'm like, I'm done with you, man. 2 years I've given you a shot and had you on the show one time and you derailed the show. And just complete fucking buffoon. And I just, look, man, I don't ask, Keith will tell you, I don't ask for a lot. Just be good at conversation. Just be good at conversation. Don't be obtuse. You know, nothing shuts me down quicker with somebody than them being obtuse. And if you don't know what that means, go look it up, Google it. I since I was a kid, man, I mean, Jim Woodward, and I'm going to get him on the show here this month. I'm going to fucking get him on the show so you can finally really meet Jim Woodward. And I'm going to share the story of how we met on a swing set, talking science, philosophy, and poetry when we were in the 5th grade. He was the only person I ever met I could have that conversation with when I was a kid. Only person. Because I felt really lonely as a kid. Because there was, you know, and I couldn't understand the loneliness because, once again, my dad hid that I was smart. I didn't know what was going on with me. I had no clue. It's like, you were smart, but you couldn't figure out you were smart? No, if somebody doesn't tell you. I felt like I was an outsider, and I felt like I was weird.
Mm-hmm.
And Jim Woodward fit right in there. Oh, look who's here. Oh, so fresh. What's up, 94?
Hi, everybody. I'm getting all kinds of love in the chat.
I swear to God, I got to capture it. Every time you say it, I want to play that character from Family Guy. I mean, not Family Guy, but Simpsons. Hello, everybody. Ironcaster, what's up, man? Oh, Lindsay the Cynical Geek is here. Good morning. She's friends with me on even my personal account. And I don't, you know, a lot of you don't know this, but I do have a personal account, and I spend more fucking time on our page than, you know, on Twitter than I do on my own personal one. And I'm like, I need to change that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Little bit. Awesome. And yes, it is true. I am weird.
Wow.
And by the way, that is Chris Carroll.
Hey. Now, Chris is probably...
Yeah, we have Facebook, because Stephanie is here, too.
Oh, Stephanie. Hey, Stephanie. You know, I have known Chris for a long time. Probably about as long as you've known Jen Woodward. So...
Is Chris Carroll as big a jerk as Jim Woodward?
No. He was always that one friend that was fascinating to talk to. I always had fun discussing, you know, facts about World War II and history. We always used to love talking about that. And between the three of us, my brother, my twin brother, and he and I, we used to have so much fun, so much fun. I mean, it, yeah, it's like a three-headed monster, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, he. I'd like to say that Kevin and I were like a lifeline to him. Coming from a family of all boys, because he was the only boy in a family full of girls.
Yeah,
And
keep that
so
up. I want to respond to it, Martin.
it is, yeah. It, love you, buddy. Love you, Chris. His entire family. Good people. Really good people.
Awesome. Awesome. I love having my old friends on, through Facebook and stuff. But Mr. Tooker, totally, because if you spot, even when I'm being a fucking dick on Twitter, I'm doing it through as part of Pop Culture Minefield. If it were through my personal account, I would probably get more insulting because really, as I said, I blocked and banned somebody for being stupid on one of my posts. I'm like, say something interesting. Like when people, I don't agree with them, I don't like what they said. I will look for one thing in particular. Do I know this person?
Mm-hmm.
And if I look and they're not following me, I kick them the fuck off the thread. I'll block them because it's like, look, man, if you're going to comment on somebody's page, I think you should at least have the decency to show respect to follow them before you do it. I think that, and if they were following me, I wouldn't block them, even though I don't agree with them. But if they're not going to bother fucking following our channel, then comment on something we post, I'm like, fuck off, random. Rando, you can go right now. Don't let the door hit you on the ass on the way out. Fuck you. That's how I roll, man. That's how I roll. Wow, I'm already 3/4 of the way down, and we're only half hour into oh shit. I might have to pour me something else to drink. This is not my mug. I'm not in my house. I don't know where I'm at now. It's been a year since the fire next week, and still, my life is up in the air. I don't want to talk about it. Anyway, fucking randos. Yeah, man.
Well, let's get to some of the big news then, because I'm telling you, man, this is, wow.
Shut up, awesome one. I'm going to unfollow and comment. Whatever.
I posted something.
I already know who you are, awesome one. So if you comment, I'm going to know it's you.
I posted about the whole thing about Future Quest and why I think Warner Brothers should go ahead and make that their next big franchise with Hanna-Barbera.
Which one?
Future Quest. DC Comics entered into a special deal with Hanna-Barbera about 5-10 years ago, where they started doing comics featuring many of the Hanna-Barbera characters. And they got the idea to take all of the action heroes of Hanna-Barbera and put them in their own comic book adventure. Okay? So the Herculoids, Frankenstein Jr., Johnny Quest, Space Ghost, Birdman, all in a massive comic book adventure together. And they called it Future Quest. And,
I remember that.
Yeah, you can now buy the entire thing. They put out all of the issues in one. But I posted that Warner Brothers should just go ahead, bite the bullet, and go ahead and make this their next franchise. Because you could do it live action, you could do it animation, you could continue comics, and of course merchandising alone. It's everything you need, as long as you make sure the person you have running that particular franchise is someone who's a fan of all those characters and not someone who's just Google familiar with the characters. So you even get an origin story for Space Ghost within this adventure that just reading that makes me feel that there needs to be a Space Ghost live action film. It's all of it is just amazing AF. So
I turned him up 25% for you, Tickle Trunk.
I just think that if you've never read it, you can go ahead and find it at your local comic book shop, or you can go to Amazon and just get the DC comic known as Future Quest. It'll be worth your time, and by the time you're done reading it, you will agree with me. And Warner Brothers should just go ahead and do an animated movie adaptation of that entire adventure, and then just spin it off into all the individual
I already
things.
read that one.
So yeah, that's my thing. I mean,
Yeah, it sounds okay, I guess.
you're not fighting the same battles, and plus, while there will be temptations to change certain things, as I said in my post, don't do it. Everything's correct. You just adapt it. Go ahead and do that.
Yeah. So there's that. I now that you're here, I guess I can go find this story because it just fucking irked me when I saw it. The creator of Friends, God, just like what? Scribe of Light. Here, let me share the screen. Share screen. Share. You can find Chrome tab. There it is. There we go, Mr. Tickle Trunk. Share. So there you have it. Scribe Light posted this thing from Daily Wire. Friends creator pledges $4 million to atone for lack of black leads on the series.
That is something that did come up and was kind of a joke that I think some random comedian.
It was a joke, and it's like, and now she's taking it serious, and it's like,
yeah.
How do you atone for? I mean, when you write from your life experience and all your friends are white, well, that's just what happens.
Yeah.
It's you freak out when there's a series and it's all black characters because they're all friends. No,
and
you
don't. You wait until it's like almost 10 or more years since the show was on the air, and now we're going to atone.
Yeah, gonna atone now. And I love this one, Mr. Tickleton. Atone. It's more religion than anti-liberal activism, twisted and evil. And then, of course, I had my comment, which was, here it is. I'll just share it with you. Atone. This is what it looks like when someone uses words that have zero value. 1, the show is over. 2, read point 1. Because what are you going to fucking do? $4 million. What is the $4 million for? Who are you giving it to? I just think this is the dumbest fucking shit I ever see. Hollywood has its head so far up its ass, it's lost. It thinks that it's on some sort of major fucking highway going somewhere, but they're looking up their own fucking colon. It's just a really long tunnel. Eventually we'll see a light. No, you'll fucking suffocate because you're a moron.
Here's my thing. I want everybody out here, take a look at what everybody who worked on the recently canceled, thank God, series Batwoman. Look at everybody that worked on that show. Is there any indication that they're going to be working on, say, any of the milestone stuff to bring it to
Mr.
life?
Tickle Trunk. Hold on, read it.
We already have. It's called Marcus Welby. No.
Oh, shit.
I know that's kind of old, so you'll have to Google that, people.
Well, if you mixed Marcus Welby with Father Knows Best, same actor, then it's Cosby.
Father Knows Welby. There you go. Because to me, growing up, that was pretty much every TV show. You barely saw anybody that looked like me. To me, there's no atoning for that. It's just, it is what it is. So, but I mean,
wouldn't it be weird though? Wouldn't it be weird if there was an app that allowed every actor to look exactly like you when you watch a show or a movie?
Oh, jeez, that'd be so bad.
Be like Malkovich, being John Malkovich.
That'd be so bad. I mean, you know.
I mean, this is where we're going with this.
Yeah.
We need characters that got to be just like us.
I guess none of y'all out there have any use for the Bible then, because none of those characters are like y'all. So
I know. How dare you not be Jewish and
I
ancient?
mean, this whole Jesus guy's all right and everything, but since he's not like me, I guess.
Yeah, fuck you, give me money. I like that one. Yeah, it's true. Yep. Fuck you, give me money. Yeah, because they don't give a shit about our opinions. They just want our money.
Yeah, of course. That's what
we
all
don't
this
care
is
what
about.
you think. We don't care
I mean,
what you
if
think.
this
Give us your
really
money.
were about trying to, make things right, we'd be seeing more projects where people that kind of look kind of different are in the lead and more
Did
things.
somebody just say lizards? Did I just read lizard?
Oh, jeez.
Oh, fuck you, Chris. I know it's you, you son of a bitch. You motherfucker. Okay, I'm going to tell you something about that motherfucker right there. I'm going to tell you something about Secret Circus podcast. First time I met him was through a letter. I'm sitting in Jason Stewart's farmhouse back in Lebanon, Missouri. Lebanon. Not Lebanon, Lebanon. And this is where all my friends lived. And Secret Circus is deployed in the army, and he's in Afghanistan. And he sent this letter, and Stewart goes walking in the kitchen. He goes, "Hey, it's a letter from Chris. Hey, would you open and read that for me?" And he goes in the kitchen to go do some stuff for lunch because he was on lunch break. And I open it up, and there's this hand-drawn picture with crayon, it looks like, and then there's like some brown with some hair in it, and I'm like, what the fuck am I looking at? And then I read what it says, and it says these exact words: "If you're reading this right now, you're touching my poo." Because I don't know if it was real poo, but I just remember when I saw that, I went, ah! And the letter flew out of my hand, and I'm like, ah! And I got up and ran into the kitchen and washed my hands and scrub it. That's fucking Secret Circus podcast, you motherfucker. That's Chris. Chris and Sean are two of my two old close friends of mine, the Ginger Brothers. And then the first time I ever visually saw Chris was in a video where he's running around the house in nothing more than a fucking tube sock hanging off his dick. Because my friends were jackass. That's what they were. They were crazy. They did crazy. Sean, his brother, Chris's brother, fucking put on a bunch of sweats. We had a big snow. And we had a 20-foot snowdrift on one side of the barn, which was a skate park inside. We turned it into a skate park inside. And you could, skateboard. We had a half pipe, 2 ramps. It was great, man. Tall, so you never had to worry about ducking. Doing skateboarding. My daughter loved going up there. And Sean, Chris's brother, gets up on top of the barn with a bunch of sweats stacked on top of sweats on this snowy fucking day, puts lighter fluid all over himself, sets himself on fire, and jumps off the farm roof into that 20-foot snowdrift. Hey, Kyle. Kyle. Oh wait, what did he say? Oh, wait till I get my podcast up and running. You cocksucker. I remember one time. This is before I was really fat, though. I was just starting to get fat. He played this song that he wrote called "I'll Eat Anything," and we were sitting in Stewart's room, and I was using my belly as percussion, playing drums for him as he played that fucking song, dude. My God. Yeah. You're gonna get shut down my first week, Chris. I'm telling you, they will not let you. Oh man, he is an unfiltered motherfucker right there. Yeah, dude, I'm traumatized from being friends with Chris and Sean. I'm serious. I have managed to go through my life and have only seen 3 of my friends' dicks, and 2 of them are the fucking McComb brothers, Sean and Chris. Sean would walk up to me at parties, and if he got drunk, man, Mac would talk him into shit. And one of the things he liked to talk him into is eventually getting up to me, and you know those squeeze stress toys, when you squeeze it, the head pops up. That's what he would do. He'd walk up to me and go, "Hey, Gary." I turned, he'd pop the end of his purple dick in my face. Like, you motherfuckers. I have weird fucking friends, man. I really do. The last time that happened, though, Zoe was sitting next to me and he forgot because he was drunk. And his then wife, Alicia, I love her. She's a good friend of mine, too. She screamed, "Sean! Sean!" The way she yelled, I loved it. And she left over my daughter covering her head to block her view. And I'm like, thank you. And from that point forward, Sean was no longer, he stopped drinking around Zoe when she was a kid. He was like, "Yeah, I can't have that. I repeated that, man. I'll go to jail for that shit." I said, "I'm not going to send you to jail." Just fuck, man. But you know, now, like, he has, because we have our traditional cookouts at his house. We go there, and Zoe's an adult now. Zoe will punch him. He fucking irritates her. But that's one of her uncles, man. It's one of her uncles. Hold on, what's that? That's the one I'm talking about, you asshole. Jason didn't touch it. I did. "Hey, man, would you read that to me? It's from Chris. He's over in Afghanistan." I know where he's at. Fuck, man. Fuck. Yeah, crazy fucking people I know. One of them's in the chat right now. You know, look, man, I make it a point, Mr. Trunk, to never whiff. I don't breathe in while a dick is close to me. It's just not something I do.
That's a nice
I don't know how
policy.
you do things. I don't do that. I don't swing that way.
You know what? Kevin and I never really got that crazy. I mean, you know, I think the worst thing we ever did was try to embarrass some people in the neighborhood during a party. And so we said, "Oh, yeah, we knew a quick way to bring down your property values." Stood outside in his lawn going, "Hey, neighbor, how's it going? We live here now. Come on." And, you know, stuff like that.
That's true. And yeah, Chris, the last time you saw her, because it's been, the last time we saw you was in the hotel. That was the last time we saw you, the one over by Steak and Shake in Springfield. And Zoe was still young. I think she was 11, 10 or 11. So, Ted, hello. Christ, man. Brain hurts from remembering things. The farmhouse was, dude, I mean, seriously, you know, this is back in the late 90s going into early 2000s, and Jackass was really just starting to become a thing. And I lived with guys that did that every day. I remember one day, Chris's brother, Sean, comes barreling into the house, and Mac jumped out in front of him. And Sean gunned the engine. And Mac was like, "I wasn't expecting that." He was not expecting Sean. So he tried to get out of the way and didn't get out of the way and got hit in the driveway of the farmhouse. Just fucking nailed him. I'm like, oh shit. And part of my job, and it's on video, man. Chris got burned during one of our firework battles. He fucked his hand up, and he got hit under the armpit, and he got some fireworks in his ass crack. And there's video footage of me treating his hand, but there's a great amount of footage of me not cleaning, but I did clean his ass crack where it got burned. And I did a semi-occlusive dressing on it. Because that was my job with these fucking guys. I didn't do the crazy shit. My job as the medic was to make sure none of them died.
So basically, you were the Dr. McCoy to their.
Damn it, Jim! I'm a doctor, not a bricklayer. But seriously, he got fucked up. He had made a grenade. Chris did.
What?
He had made a grenade out of fireworks. And
What?
It went to throw it, and right as it was leaving his hand, it blew up and burned the fuck out of his hand. He had, mostly second-degree burns. There were first-degree and second-degree, no third-degree, thank God. And I did what's called icing. And if you know anything in medical field for dealing with burns, icing is very fucking painful. That's where you get a bucket of really icy water, and you make the person sit there. And I remember a time I said, when it feels like you can't take anymore, keep your fucking hand in there. I'm shocking the burn. It's what you're doing with ice.
Yeah.
You're shocking the burn with ice so it doesn't get worse. So people don't know that as you walk with a burn, it's getting worse. If you shock it, you can actually stop the damage.
Well,
Monkey Jeebus, one of my two favorite monkeys, is here. What's up, buddy? I love you too, Chris, man.
I like Monkey Jeebus.
I'm talking to Chris up there. Chris says, I love you, and I love him back. The McComb brothers are family to me. You know, it's like your friends are your family. I have family.
Well, that's
if I weren't related to them, I'd have nothing to do with them.
Well, I can't say that about Chris. I mean, Chris really is family. In fact, you know, I treat his sisters, especially his youngest sister, as family. She's my sister too. I mean, they're all good people.
You know, I need to check on this awesome one. Let me, because I'm not sure when the final episode is. How many are we getting this season?
I thought it was 10 or 12.
And I'm trying to go to IMDb. Where the fuck is it? Wow. IMDb and Wikipedia used to be the first ones that loaded up. Man, not anymore. All right, season 3 is going to have 10 episodes. Yep. Future Unknown is the final episode. We are at A Tale of Two Topas today. And I'm looking forward to watching it tonight. I mean, I had a little beef with the last episode and the previous episode. The beef was having your both your two top senior officers on an away mission. That's just, you don't do that. Two, a president of anything without security. It's like we refer to it as Deus Ex Machina when they do shit like that, because if they had done it smartly, some of the things they would have had to either make it longer or write something differently, and they needed it to happen a certain way, so they conveniently wrote out him having security, which is dumb. Oh, you've already watched it? I haven't gotten a chance to yet. Oh my God. Chris, you're so gay. Right here. I took my wife's last name on Chris Park. I love you, buddy. Yes, remember, you're always welcome to tip the bartender. I'm your bartender, even though I don't get to serve you drinks. I would love to do that, though. Could you imagine that? My mom, actually, many members of my family were bartenders. and they're really good at it. My mom was a bartender professionally for 40 years.
Wow.
Ran the Mexican American restaurant on Camelback in Phoenix for 40 years before she retired from that and went to work for U-Haul. And she was there during the murder and the investigation. If you don't know the U-Haul murder, check that shit out. That's some crazy shit right there, I tell you. And then she eventually retired from that and got old. And I was always reminded of that Bill Cosby joke when I told Zoe about her, see that woman? That's not my mother. I don't know who this is, but I think it's somebody trying to get into heaven. That's not the mom I remember. Fuck you, awesome one. Did you read that? Oh man! All right,
that was fun. That was a lot of fun.
It was, man. I talked about it earlier before you got on here that I was just so happy seeing some of our old friends.
Yeah, it was great seeing everybody, especially the ghosts.
And that's why, if you never caught it, Keith, I kept looking down to the right, so I wanted to see who was coming and going. I wanted to see if I spotted anybody, and I get excited. Oh my God, there's one. I'm a very Keith, tell him I'm very huggy. I really love my friends. Yes. I really love them. I hug them. God, I'm so grateful for some of the wonderful people I've met.
Look, to those of you watching right now, if you go back to the episodes, I think we did like 3 or 4 from Tremendicon. Just watch them. Just watch Gerry. Watch as he's talking. You can tell he's enjoying the hell out of it. It's everybody was great.
I was so happy getting to see Gerry Bedell. But I did pull it on him. I said, I introduced you to your wife. Don't ever fucking forget it. He's the black Gerry.
It's look, I got a chance to talk to Gerry's wife, and she is incredible. She is incredible. I like talking to everybody. I liked hanging out with everybody.
Yeah, she came by because her son and my daughter were friends. And she would come by every once in a while and hung out. And I think she was there when I got shot in the eye by Zoe with one of her poppers. You pull the string on it and it explodes. And I was sitting there just enjoying her birthday. Her friends, including her and her son, were there. And she turns at me and fucking fires that thing. Gave me a black eye. She hit me so hard. I'm like, I fucking love you. I raised you. I reared you. And what do? You shoot me in the eye. She's like, I'm so sorry, Dad. She felt so awful. It was funny.
But baby shoots daddy in eye.
But baby shoots daddy. Oh my God. I couldn't believe she did that too. She turned, and it's like, I raised her around guns. And the first thing I always told her, I said, aim at the ground or aim up. Don't aim in the direction of anybody. She fucking turns that thing right at me and goes, pow, right in my fucking eye. And I'm like, oh, you fucking idiot. I love my daughter. I love her so much. I look forward to getting her back on the show again. She was so quiet.
She is good people.
Yeah, I don't doubt it for a second, you creep. You weirdo.
Oh, jeez.
I have seen too many of my friends' dicks, man. I shit you not. Too many. Well, I would rather get hit with because it's the same risk of aiming down. You might get hit by a ricochet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the best thing in the military, you're taught to always aim down range. And then in life, where's down range? Away from everybody. It's best to aim out and down, so it'll go into the dirt. I never told you one of the fucked up things. I used to go shooting with Mike Beatty all the time and his dad. His dad was the senior instructor for the FBI field training instructor for the FBI.
Mm-hmm.
And he would get the coolest fucking guns. He'd just show up. We used to go to the Isaac Walton League, which was a shooting range for members out in Virginia. And they had a really nice range, hilly range. So it was very safe.
Mm-hmm.
My dad wanted me to know what it sounded like when a bullet went by you. So my job as one of the youngest, and Mike would do it too when he was there, and we'd trade back and forth and go down range and put up the new targets and then come back. And one time I went down range and my dad fired 3 shots right above my head. And, just so I could hear what it sounded like. He wanted me to hear what it sounded like when a bullet went by you. And it doesn't do what they show in the movies at all. Sing, whew. It doesn't do that. It's just, it's an object breaking the sound barrier near you. But I remember turning back to my dad with the biggest what the fuck look on my face. Like, what the fuck? My dad's laughing, Beatty's laughing. And because it was nowhere near me. They just wanted to, because they do the same thing in the military.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in live fire training, one of the first live fire training things you go through is going under barbed wire. You have to low crawl under barbed wire with all your shit on, man. I got stuck twice. That was panic inducing. And they're firing 30 cal machine gun, a Browning 30, right above your head. It's about 10 feet. Because if you stood up, it still wouldn't hit you. But with tracers, and it's starting to get dark, because they wait until it starts to get dark before you have to do this, because they want you to see the tracers.
Yeah.
And tracers, there's no depth with tracers. They look like they're an inch above your fucking face. And yeah, it's fucking crazy. Chris went through it too. First live fire, first FTX. And yeah, they expect you, drill sergeants get up in the trees to play sniper. And they tell you how to march through the woods. They go wedge formation. Come through the woods in wedge formation so we can ambush you and kill you all. And I didn't. I did stagger. I didn't follow their orders. Like, you're the enemy. I'm not going to follow your fucking orders. So I did a stagger with my squad. And we survived. And we killed the drill sergeants. And they got mad. And Drill Sergeant Merititi, or the guy we called Drill Sergeant Titty, because he had big man boobs that he bounced. Big muscular guy. He got really mad about it. And we had this fucking, I was going to say the R word. I'm just going to say fucking moron. In our squad named Hutchko. Guy was fucking idiot. And he walked over and he saw a flattened Pepsi can on the ground. And he just reached down and picked it up. And Merititi yells out, "Y'all dead. Anybody within 15 yards is dead. That was a booby trap." I'm like, are you serious? Are you that big a fucking pansy about losing that you're going to do that to win? Yes, because they're the drill instructors. But I was that guy that Kyle Fisher, who's still a good friend of mine to this day, he was the first one that wrote on his headband, "I love my fearless squad leader." Because, man, I fucking gave shit back to the drill instructors because I'm a logic guy, and you try to use bad logic on me, I will fucking call you. I don't care. You want to smoke me over it? That's fine. They never did. I got smoked because I refused to let my guys get smoked without me getting smoked with them. Yeah. And the first sergeant was like, "Really?" And he let them sit down and he let them watch me get smoked. And he destroyed me. Seriously, they had to carry me in physically. Hey, War Monkey, my other favorite monkey. Yes. Good morning, D-Bub Martin. Wait, what did he say? I miss it. Last 5 years, we're at Fort Bragg as special operations. My brother took every opportunity to shoot some BBs at me. I had one of those brothers too. He shot me in the ass. Shot my brother too. Shot my brother Michael in the rib, and shot me in the ass. He got in trouble. Got him kicked out of the house. He never came back. You know, it was funny because we all went up to the barn, and he got up in the loft. He's sitting up there, and we were talking about something, and he says, "I don't know why you're worried about that." And we're like, "What do you mean?" He says, "Well, what you should be worried about is how you're going to get back to the house without me shooting you." And I'm like, "Oh shit!" And Mike and I had to get down out of that loft and haul ass back to the house and survive without him shooting us, and didn't make it. He hit us. But yeah, I miss the military all the time. Whoop, whoop. So, yeah, and I'm sure that Chris will tell you, nobody, once you get to permanent party, does hooah. It's a good way to get made fun of. Hooah! Fuck are you, Special Forces? The fuck? Nobody says that. And drill sergeants tried to create a new one for combat medics and our drill instructors, because our cycle was the first cycle of AIT medics to have drill sergeants in over a decade, because for some reason they felt AIT medical wasn't necessary to have drill instructors, and then someone changed their mind. And I thought it was a good idea, but I did get onto the drill instructors myself because I said, "Look, man, all the stuff you want us to do, I get it, and all the DNC you want us to do, which is drill and ceremony, but if you interrupt our classes, man, I will be one of the first people in line to end drill sergeants for medical. Don't interrupt our fucking study times. You got to make sure we have study times." And they were cool about it. I got along with my drill instructors. Very friendly with them. Well,
Hey,
your
Danny.
medic is, what's that? Danny, I sent you. Oh, that's why. Oh, are you going to get high again and like be, I would really like to have you be that kid. Is this the real world? But no, you go dark places, Danny. When you're dark. Let's see. Steven's probably streaming right now, so that's why he's not here. I invited all my friends to join. But yeah, is this real life?
Well, now I saw that you responded to me sending you the thing about the Doomcock video and Game of Thrones.
Yeah, because what I said was, if that is the case,
Yeah.
then the third option is on the table for the Flash, because he's getting ready. If this is true, Zaslav is ready to pay a lot of fucking money to reboot Game of Thrones so it has a better ending, giving fans the ending that they were promised, and holding that piece of shit, putting a poker up his ass, saying, "Fix the fucking show, stop blaming other people, and finish your goddamn book."
Well, that's the thing. He's talking about also having a meeting with George R.R. Martin, and I'm hoping he says those exact words: "Fix the fucking show, stop screwing around." You know, because you're never gonna look. Dan and Dave were there to facilitate the show. They were never really the creatives. That's George R.R. Martin, and he's got all this time to be buzzing around doing all these other shows. My thing is, if you know, Zaslav's probably looked at it and just like, just do this, help us fix this, and then we can talk about doing all these other spin-offs.
But it's none of this. Help us, fucking fix it, or take the blame.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'd tell him, look, you're going to be the showrunner, okay, or co-showrunner, I should say. I wouldn't trust George R. R. Martin to be the showrunner. He'd have to be a co-showrunner. But I would tell him, look, you're the story guy. This is your world. Get this fixed so that we can all benefit and make a lot of money. Because obviously he cares more about making money and hanging out on sets than he does about finishing his series.
Well, it wouldn't really come to George Lucas' son. He's in the chat. Basically, though, by saying this, though, remember, because Mikey was talking about the two options, I said, I believe there is a third option that he is considering, because I really do think they could fix it for $100 million. You know, the Flash.
Yeah.
And because a lot of it's going to be done, you know, him being added in as multiple characters is an effect. It's an effect. So therefore, they have separate plates for this.
Mm-hmm.
That means that all they got to do is slip one in to replace it.
Yeah.
It's very simple in the CG aspect. When I say plates, I don't mean real plates anymore. It's all digital.
Yeah.
But the fact is, you know, you have digital plates that just need to be switched out. You know, the main lead character is the one that would have to be reshot, and they could do it the way that Ridley did, and just put him in over top of the other guy and remove the guy. They got to do something. They've got to do something.
Yes.
Because
quickly.
He's not. You're hoping for a year of silence from Ezra Miller. Well, you better fucking go. I don't mean this. I'm not being literal. But if you want silence from someone like Ezra Miller, you better go out and kill him, because he's going to do something.
Or drop him off on some island and have no
somewhere.
Access to nothing. Make him like the prisoner on that show. The prisoner.
The man in the iron mask. I don't know, Chris. Let's talk about it. You're scary too, man. But yeah, get with us after the show. We'll talk. But I called William a copycat for doing a Blade Runner show after you. Who did? Someone did a Blade Runner show after ours? Yeah, I mean, people are going to do Blade Runner shows. I'm all for it. You know, good. Celebrate. But when Blade Zone does it, you know, I'm the founder of Blade Zone. Gerry is the guy that currently runs Blade Zone, and we were the ones who hosted the show.
Yep.
And we're the preeminent Blade Runner fan group. A lot of people... I haven't watched it yet. I don't even know where to watch it.
It's on, I think it's on Netflix right now.
I couldn't find it.
Really?
Yeah.
I was enjoying
Well, I don't have
the heck out of it.
Netflix anymore, but Christ, I want to see the fucking movie.
I've seen the first 35 minutes of it, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. You know, hey, Hollywood, that's what you should be doing. What RRR is doing, they're making movies and having fun, and that's the way it should be. You know. I just really enjoyed it, so it's good.
But I will say that the Blade Runner show, we're already over 1,200 views on it, and I couldn't believe how many likes we got. Very pleased with it. It was a really wonderful turnout. Everybody loved Sean. Everybody loved Katie. Everybody loved the entire guest panel. I mean, Paul Salmon. I've been friends with that guy for a long time. I really love that man. I admire him so much.
We should definitely get him back on to do a whole show about Conan, and invite Andre on.
Andre, of course. You know, I would like to, because we were talking about redoing the 80s thing because I just feel like it fell flat. We didn't get to finish it the way we wanted to.
Yeah.
And I actually would like to do a better breakdown where basically instead of doing one hour show or 2 hour show about a single year, instead do a series of shows about each film in that year. And I think that would be a lot more fun.
Because 82 just kicked so much butt.
82 and 84.
Oh, jeez.
Two of the best years.
With Conan and Blade Runner and
well, yeah,
Star
because
Trek
82
2,
you had Star Trek 2, Conan. You had other ones. You had what else came out in 82? Was it Tron?
Yeah, Tron.
God, so much came out in 82, man. That movie I refuse to talk about. I will never talk about Steven Spielberg's little sci-fi alien movie.
You and me both.
Fuck that movie, man. I remember when I went to see it. I went to see it with my girlfriend and my dad. And we went together. And I walked out and my dad and I were like riffing on it. Going out the door going, wow, did you just love that whole Jesus motif with the glowing heart? Fuck, man.
You know,
The Thing. Yes,
yeah,
The Thing.
that was 82.
Well, I tell you all the time, it's this will never change. My number one and number two favorite films of all time will always be the same two films. It was Ridley Scott's Blade Runner and John Carpenter's The Thing. In fact, the first top five will never change, which is right after Blade Runner, The Thing, comes another little thing called Escape from New York.
Yep.
Followed immediately by Big Trouble in Little China. Followed immediately by The Duelists. All five, John Carpenter
Or
Ridley Scott.
Yeah. You know, I would really like to get my hands on the original screenplay for Big Trouble in Little China. Back when it was just a Western, which is really what it was originally written to be. And those elements are still within that script. And
well, yeah, because the way the gangs, the way everything worked, worked better as a Western, really. Mm-hmm. But still, I fucking love it because instead of a cowboy, he's now a fucking truck driver.
Yeah, that's it. I would love to get my hands on it to read it, you know, because I would like to see what other elements pretty much made that transition, you know.
Snake Plissken. I heard you was dead. Fuck yeah. Also, proof again that John Carpenter understands jump scares better than anybody. And he's trying to explain to other filmmakers, stop doing what you're doing. When you play a musical cue with a jump scare and it's not the actual killer, you've just fucked up. Because he showed Donald Pleasance, the sheriff walks up behind him, puts his hand on his shoulder in the first film. It's a visual jump scare, no musical cue. He says, because that's misleading. It's a lie. You're lying to the audience. You're telling the audience the sheriff is the bad guy when you give it a musical cue. Now, he jumped forward to Escape from New York when he's trying to get out of the train and he gets stopped, jumped. And that guy comes out of nowhere to get him. And he does the sound in the score. Because that's actually not a sound effect. It's the keyboards. Fuck, man, I jumped. And yes, he's a bad guy. It's a bad guy jumping him. Listen to John Carpenter. He fucking knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, he does.
But Dork Knight so much, so I made this shirt. Wait, what are we talking about?
Lego China. Yeah, I remember that one.
Oh, yeah. I love that shirt. I want one. But anyway, I think we should wrap up now. I'm out. I'm out of coffee.
And I'm almost out, so.
Dennis McCullough is here. What is up, Dennis?
Yes.
June 25th, 1982. That's why we had our Blade Runner, celebration on June 25th. I went to see both films at two different theaters. I went on Friday to the Greenbrier Theater in Fredericksburg to see Blade Runner, and I was very not into that. I was like, what the fuck did I just watch? And none of us talked. I went there with Bennett Sumner, Jim Woodward, Mike Vida, and David Gray. And we went as a group. We took up the entire row of seats in one of those narrow theaters, one of the smaller theaters, and watched it. And I was like, we're like, Han Solo, Indiana Jones. It's going to be great. And then we get to the end of the movie. I'm like, what the fuck did we just watch? He killed women. He only killed women. All the men. He didn't kill any of them. Just the women. That's all he could seem to kill. And the first time somebody said, Decker is a replicant, and I said, well, that's just fucking dumb. He couldn't stand up to those fucking guys. They beat the shit out of him. What kind of replicant did they make? Like, we're going to make replicants really strong and create replicants that are weaker on them. Yeah, fucking stupid. A dumb idea. Not to mention, the story is about there's always a character arc. To have a good story, you have to have a story arc and a character arc. And the character arc of that story was him regaining his humanity.
Yeah.
That was the story arc, his character arc. Rick Decker getting his fucking humanity back. He becomes a replicant because of some dumb idea Ridley had. Wouldn't it be neat? No, stop it. Neat ideas aren't good ideas. Nifty ideas aren't good ideas.
See, ideas like that, that's where people like Alex Kurtzman come from.
Yeah.
Where you have an entire movie set up and halfway through you're going, wouldn't it be good? It's like, no, it wouldn't. That's not the movie we're making right now.
Oh, Penny is here. Hi, Penny.
Hi, Penny.
Fuck you, awesome one. No, it makes no sense if he is. And, Doomcock says he is. And I beat him down on Twitter because he couldn't talk over me. When we got in the debate on Twitter, I kicked his ass. But then we get on a show and he just talks over me, and I just gave up. And I'm like, I'm just going to enjoy being on Doomcock because I love the guy. It's like, he's fucking awesome. He's full of shit on Decker because he doesn't understand significance and importance of story structure and character structure. Wait, I was reading it. Named Nina and Finn. Oh my god! Share that with me in our group chat, dude. I want to see that. I don't get that. What are you talking about, awesome one? With Campia?
Is he watching our show and taking ideas?
I'm not sure what he's saying there. Anyway. Penny, you might want to give him a couple hours before he calls you. Don't take any calls immediately because it can get dark. Yeah, I was just reading the comments. So anyway, Blade Runner last weekend was fucking awesome. That's all I got to say. It was so awesome sitting there in the presence of so many great people that I've admired for years. And I finally got to say, talk about something with them there that I had crushes on. I had a crush on Katie for years. Because Keith and I are those guys that would look for all the behind the scenes stuff. That's just the way we were. That's the kind of kids we were.
Mhm.
And I was aware of Katie Haber and her fucking beauty. She was leading actress beautiful, just gorgeous, and she worked behind the scenes. Man, without her, Sam Peckinpah, Sam Fuller, Ridley Scott, so many directors wouldn't have been able to finish their films.
I'm surprised they were able to finish with her next to them anyway. I mean,
and she would sit on this little box right next to him. They'd be up in there for director's chair. She was sitting on that little box.
She is distractingly beautiful.
She was telling me she's in her 70s, and I said, I don't care. You're gorgeous. You're still gorgeous. And Sean's still beautiful. She was the other one I got a big crush on. How big of a crush? My first wife looks like her.
Yeah.
Because that's part of the reason I was so attracted to her. I wasn't paying attention to the evil bitch she was. God bless you. God bless you. She won on Jeopardy. She really did. She won on Jeopardy. But I thought it was funny when she was on there. And I don't care if this gets seen. Life's too short to fucking worry about stuff. People get mad at you. But she was on Jeopardy. And I shouldn't say who said this, but one of my bosses said, oh my God, I just watched Jeopardy with your ex-wife on there. She did that snort thing. I wanted to punch her in the face. I get it. I totally get it now. She's so snarky. And I'm like, yes. She would do this thing. She would say something to you that was meant to be like kind of insulting. And then she'd go, oh. And I'm like, oh my God, I want to punch you right now. Because she was really condescending to me a lot. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And that was my own fault, though, because I like women that are smarter than me. In fact, I talked to your wife about that. I said, one of my failings in my life was always connecting myself with women who were as smarter than me. Mm-hmm. And I'm attracted to very smart women.
Hey, nothing hotter than smarter women. So,
and sometimes they're fucking cunts and just want to make you miserable because they're smarter than you and they love lording that over you. And it's like, oh crap. That was my first marriage. I'm looking to see the Campia thing. Go back to that.
I think he was trying to explain why.
Oh, why Kenobi yeah, okay, I found it. That was Campia's explanation why Kenobi was so bad. Well, yeah, his story arc look, if they had gone the right direction, PTSD is a real thing. And I'm certain it exists in the Star Wars universe. So I was okay with certain things. But you can't, look, the Force isn't something that you can just turn off. You have it.
Yes.
It's there inside of you.
Think of that.
And it was so stupid they did that in Rise of Skywalker, or not Rise of Skywalker, The Last Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
And then they did it with Obi-Wan to echo the exact same thing. It's just, look, you can stop using it, but it's always there, whether you're using it or not.
And one of the things that I think you and I had talked about, one of the problems I had with the story is that beginning, that very opening episode, instead of going from the angle, since, I just thought since the show was called Obi-Wan Kenobi, that you could have started with something that you've never seen in the movies before, which is starting when Obi-Wan was himself a youngling, to show you how long he's actually been doing this. Some people are still kind of surprised that Obi-Wan is as good as he is. He's been doing it his entire life, since he could actually hold a lightsaber. He is that good at it. In fact, in many ways, I think that's part of the reason why he is able to fight Anakin so well. Because unlike Anakin, he's been doing it way longer than even Anakin has been doing. Because Anakin didn't even start until after he was the age to have started all that stuff. He had a natural affinity for the Force. But, it was Anakin's natural ability versus Obi-Wan's training. Lifelong training.
You know, and we need to go into this on another episode, like maybe not TGIF, but on Saturday morning, because I'd really like to get into a discussion about the Force and how Lucas made a huge mistake in having Anakin a child instead of, you know, a young teen, or just about to become a teen at 12. Because he kept talking about circular storytelling, and there's circular storytelling for you right there. Is the father just like the son? You know, what is that line from Superman? The father becomes the son becomes the father. You know,
that's a great speech from Jor-El. It's one of the best lines in cinema.
I fucking love that. So, you know, and Lucas had that chance, and it's a missed opportunity. And he chose to go with a child. And look, I feel bad for that kid. They should have never done that to that kid. Jake, man, his life was fucked up because of that. But anyway, here, I want to share this because I am very proud of my ex-wife for what she did. That's her. She won on Jeopardy, baby. And she, you know, I'm just so proud of her. She got on there and kicked ass. And, you know, just proved how smart she was. And she really is. She got like an IQ of 165. I'm only at 152. Yes, I'm a genius, but compared to her, I'm mentally retarded, you know, and she knew it. And she would fucking. But she did this thing on there that was really funny. And when she would say something that was smart alecky, and my boss was like, "Oh man, she did that thing you told me about," and I just wanted to punch her right through the TV screen. It's so funny, but either way it goes, man, she kicked ass, and that's my boy Benjamin's mom, man. Fucking, she nailed it, and I'm very proud of her, you know, despite all the subterfuge in our bad relationship. Oh, let me tell you, man. She had hair like Rosanna Dana. She would pull it back. She was so gorgeous when she would pull her hair back. She looked like Kirby from Dynasty. And she was sexy little thing. And she worked with me at McDonald's. And she was my rebound from Sherry when that shit went down with, because that's the plot to Drummers Don't Dance Book 1. Where I got left on that street corner, realizing she picked the other guy and not me. And I'm like, oh, this shit hurts. So my rebound was with Lori, and it wasn't going to last. I don't think it was meant to last. But when she got pregnant, you know, I was this devout Catholic kid. So of course I met someone else, and I broke up with him to be with Lori. And we shouldn't have done that. We shouldn't have done that. It was just miserable for both of us. But, you know, when you love a kid, and I'm so glad because Benjamin's in this world, and he makes the world better being in it.
Yeah, so, he's a good guy. He's a good guy.
Smartest as a whip, gay as hell. Jesus Christ. You can't get more flaming than my son. I'm serious, man. If he were a fighter plane, he'd be going down in flames. He'd laugh at that joke.
Oh, man.
He's got a great sense of humor. He really does. He's fucking... The one difference between him and me with the humor is he's got his mother's snark. And so some of the things he says can be really scathing and mean. And I'm like, oh my God, that is your mother's humor, not mine. But then he also has my sense of humor too. So, no, I agree, Shanatsky. Jeez, good to see you, buddy. Watching you, Shanatsky. You know, it's like, well, I was very, you know, at one time I was going to be a priest. You know, I wanted to be a priest. Oh, well, you know, things happen. Sex, mostly. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do that now. You don't want to still be a priest? I got to give up sex? Yes. No, I don't want to be a priest.
Hey, look. Could anybody in the chat actually give up sex? Seriously? Could any one of you give up sex?
I did for 18 years, man, with my daughter. Because not with my daughter. That sounds fucked up.
No, you said for your daughter, not with.
Yeah, for my daughter. Because raising her, I was terrified. Because it. Oh my God, when you're a single parent, man. I don't know about others, but all my focus was on my kid.
Yeah.
And I felt like if I was distracted by relationships, because I tried twice to have relationships while I was raising my daughter. One, because I felt the woman would be a good role model for my daughter. And I found out later, no, she was terrible. But I wanted Zoe to have a strong female role model in her life. And it just didn't work. So I tried to be as effeminate as possible to be.
Okay.
No, I tried to be as nurturing with her as possible, but it was really tough, man. And it wasn't until she was older that I finally got a girlfriend, and tried to have a relationship. And that blew up in my face. Holy crap. So, the 2 times I tried, man, they blew up in my face. And just said, that's it. I'm going to stay single till you're done. When you're done, then I'll try again. And that's when I came back to Missouri and I started seeing Deanna. I actually went out on several dates with several people and just didn't work. Well, that's one of the things. That's one of my go-tos. If I really like a girl, I tell them I'm gay for you.
That's a t-shirt. I am gay for you.
I'm gay for women. Yes, awesome one. You heard me correctly. I did say that. It was tough, man. I got to tell you, dude. It was really hard trying to be a mom and dad. And it really did, like early on, I started producing too much estrogen. And it was really fucking embarrassing because I would cry at the drop of a fucking hat. If I go, you know what Zoe did today? Zoe, and I get really fucking emotional. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me? And so I would see a doctor and he says, man, your estrogen levels are off the charts. You really need to eat more red meat. Get the red meat. You need to work out. And I'm like, is that why I'm crying so much? He goes, yes. And I'm like, oh my God. Well, that's one thing because like with my boys, I kind of got hobbled in being their dads, and it really bothered me and it really pissed me off, to be honest. I'm not going to beat around the bush about it. I felt that there was a lot of interference in my being the dad, and there was this common thread. Well, Gary's not a very good parent. And I would hear this shit echoed back at me from other people, friends. And they go, yeah, they talk shit about you all the time about how terrible a dad was. And this is why I said, my raising Zoe pissed them off so much because they were all angry about it. All of them were. Because raising Zoe proved them wrong and proved what a good parent I could be when I didn't have people interfering with me. So what was this?
This one.
Deep. I don't know why I like you fuckers so much. Some of the shit you say to me is so hurtful. Gerry drinks soy from a cow. You don't get soy from a cow. That's what makes it funny. Anyway, but it's like in the end, Zoe is my biggest advocate, and she gets angry when people say things about me, And not just angry, she gets really hurt because she'll tell him, "You don't know my dad. You shouldn't be saying those things. You don't know him. I know my dad, and I know what he did and what he sacrificed." And so she's the quickest one to shut critics down. And I still have critics out there that don't like me. And as I told her, I said, "Look, baby, I got people out there that don't like me. And to be honest with you, they got a good damn reason not to like me. Because I got sick of their shit and wasn't nice about it. I don't give a shit if I hurt people's feelings if they're being fucking assholes." Soy cow. Oh my God. Anyway, man. Oh, Parrothead's here. Look, man, were you here when I told you about my actual dream I had during basic training? I woke up I'm serious, man. I had this dream and I was with my ex-girlfriend, Patty.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to fuck her, and this drill sergeant is standing over me, yelling at me while I'm fucking her, going, "You're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. Get off her. I'll show you." And he made me stand at parade rest while he fucked my girlfriend in my dream. And I woke up from that just like this. Oh my God, what the fuck was that? I was like, oh, and I couldn't get back to sleep. I'm like, what the fuck was that? I'll show you how it's done.
That's a boner killer on top of a lot of other things. So.
Yeah, but seriously, I couldn't get back to sleep after that dream. I remember that. Oh, my memory is like really weird. I remember so many fucking things. It drives my siblings crazy. I'll remember shit that they're like, "Wait a minute, I remember that. You were like 2. You were 3. How do you remember that?" I said, I remember feelings and I remember visual.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember things that were said exactly. I remember how things felt and what I saw.
Yeah.
Because I have that, what do you call it? Eidetic memory.
Oh, I don't have that. I only have it about certain things. I can also remember the view from where I was. So the younger I am, the view changes. I get shorter. Yeah, I got that. You know what? I've never really gotten to talk about that too much with my twin brother to see if he's got the same thing. See if we remember enough to complete an entire segment of things. But yeah, that'd be an interesting experience.
D-Bud, if that's all you got from that fucking dream description, you missed the fucking point, buddy. But yeah, he just pulled his trow down. He didn't get naked. My girlfriend was naked, though. I thought, well, that's short term. Short term, mine is long term memory. I have really good long term. I forget shit all the time. That's why the joke and because I'm working on a script. I talked to the script doctor about doing an actual, getting some of my vet buddies together and writing a thing called Back to Basic, which would be a present day version of Stripes, but done correctly. Mm-hmm. Because I remember one of the funny things that made it drill sergeant laugh. I'm fucking going over the confidence course. And I mean, I'm fucking covered in mud, slipping on everything. It's just crazy. And as I got up over top of this one wall, and I looked over, and he's sitting on top of the post at the end of the wall. And I looked at him, I said, "This is nothing like Stripes. Nothing." And then I finished, and he started laughing, and I just kept going. And, and that's why I've said to people, it's like I have this way of, I would make drill sergeants laugh with some of the shit I said. And they're not going to punish a guy that's smart enough to make them fucking laugh. That's why I was never in trouble. They knew I was very smart, and that's why I got put in charge. I was a squad leader. But yeah, this is nothing like Stripes. Fuck Stripes. Because I went to see it, well, I didn't went to see it. I watched it on VHS. with my buddy John, and the day before I was leaving, and we watched it that night, and I got the basic, and I'm like, yeah, this isn't right. That movie's wrong. It's nothing like this. They threw a bunch of stuff. It was like goulash. They took things out of context, and because, like, I'll tell you right now, you lose one drill sergeant, that's okay. You've got others. You've got more than one drill instructor. On top of that, every platoon has 2 to 3 drill instructors, and the group of platoons, company, has fucking senior drill instructor, equivalent to a first sergeant. So you're never out of fucking drill instructors. Ever. There's no shortage. I actually remember my first Halloween trick-or-treating with my parents. For some reason, I dreamed of neurotic Gerry streaming in his underwear with the voice of Gerry saying, I'm all right. Let it all hang out. I earned it. You're 1.5. Yeah, that's pretty young. I don't know. I think I've only remembered things like I went to hit my sister and broke a glass in her face. And that was when I was 2. And wait a minute. No, because there was a time I was still in one of those things that they would put you in, you'd roll around in it. What are those things called, Keith? Not a stroller, the thing that you would roll around the house in.
I don't know the English.
God damn it, I can't remember what they're called. But anyway, I was in one, and I remember 2 things. I remember accidentally pulling the TV down on myself, and I remember going up to my first Christmas tree and seeing those glass bulbs, and there was a red one that I went right up to and put my eye right up on it so I could look at the room through the reflection on the bulb, Christmas bulb. I remember it to this day. And both of those events took place. I couldn't speak. I didn't know how to talk. They're just visual memories I have. And that was between 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Is that what that Walker? Yes, there we go. Walker. Thanks, guys. And that's the earliest memories I have right there.
I have earliest memories of us moving into the place that we had down the street from my grandparents. I remember a lot of the walks that we took at the park near where we lived. I remember daycare. I remember
kindergarten. I don't remember kindergarten. I don't think I ever went to daycare.
Yeah, Mom had to drop us off at daycare, and then I also remember. I remember a lot of the Christmases that we had. The first few years were always at my grandparents'. They had this really nice tree, and it. Oh, gosh.
You gotta love Calvin, man.
Yeah. We've got some people here.
Yo, man, you messed up. That's messed up.
Hey, more power to you if you can remember all that, because for any other person, that's traumatic.
What's this? When my dad was on strike, I climbed up on the crib and did a high dive.
Oh.
What the fuck, John? Jeez.
Wolfen, come on, dude.
I remember kindergarten. That's all I remember. We were latchkey kids. I had 6 siblings, so there was no daycare for me. And Mom was a stay-at-home mom sometimes, and which I don't think she was happy about. She liked having her own money, so she'd go out and do things.
I also remember getting my first library card. You know, it's plastic, and I liked it because it's the same kind of card the adults would get, and I was very happy about that. You know, I couldn't tell you what that meant at the time when I got it. I remember it's like I'm now an official member of the library. I can do stuff now.
I think my oldest memory was at 2 or 3 years old. But I cannot be sure.
But you
of
can't remember.
my age. Yes,
I think my earliest memory was at 2 or 3, but I can't remember.
No, I'm not sure of if we're 2 or 3. Is that what I meant?
Oh, what age? You don't remember which
The
age?
Yeah, a lot of that stuff is just for me. I think part of it is having a twin brother. You know, a lot of the memories are with him anyway, and at my grandparents' house because we spent a lot of time there. Another reason why I need to go back to the old homestead, you know. So
Yeah,
check
my
that place
siblings
out.
have done that. My sisters, they went back to some of the houses, and whenever I get together with my sister Luann in Phoenix, we do that. We go by all the old houses that we lived in growing up in Phoenix, and I like doing that. It's fun.
I know for me, it's. I'm not expecting everything to look the same. In fact, I know that they took down a lot of the trees in the area where my grandparents' house was. They lived on this incredible street that used to have this incredible canopy of trees that would line the entire street. So during the summer, you could drive down their entire road without really getting into sunlight. It was all covered. It's very magical living, visiting them there because that road would end right into the back of the zoo. And so we could go down the road and go into the zoo. And
Jesus Christ, Parrot Head. And War Monkey, motherfucker, I know you're making that shit up. Fucking past life memory.
Wait. Parrot Head, are you serious?
Yeah, that's some fucking scary shit right there.
That's traumatic. Dude, you need help.
I told you when I was a paramedic, I was getting gear, because whenever you do a drop off, your gear gets left, and then you have to go do a pickup. So I went to the hospital after doing another drop off, and went into the room. They always put our shit in the room, and you look for your company logo, and we grab it and we take it to the. And I'm walking through the ER, and I look to my right, and there's this guy sitting up on the gurney in the examination room with the curtain slightly apart. And as I walked by, we made eye contact, and he goes just like this. He goes, "What's up?" I said, "Hey." And I stopped about 2 feet past the curtain. I went, "What the fuck did I just see?" And I came back around the curtain and looked in, and I went, "Is somebody checking on you?" And he goes, "Yeah, they're coming right back." Sitting there with a fucking lawn dart in his fucking forehead. Sitting upright, talking. His brother and he got into an argument, and his brother grabbed the lawn dart and stabbed him in the forehead with it. That dude went to jail. His brother survived with no brain trauma. It went right between the fissures.
You know what? I've had some. Look. Those of us that had siblings, come on. There are times you fought your siblings, but that's like well past the line. You know.
Well, no, that's biblical. That's fucking biblical when you do something like that. Fratricide. He tried to kill his fucking brother with a lawn dart. And thank God, man, it went right in the middle. Didn't pierce the brain.
I'm from that generation of kids where, thinking back to that. If I had pulled something like that, thinking about it, my ass would hurt. I wouldn't be able to sit down.
Well, I told you what happened with my brother when he shot us with BBs. You know, he had that high-powered fucking pump. It wasn't the fucking single day click daisy. It was the pump, and he would like pump it 3 or 4 or 5 times and fucking nail us with those things, and it broke the skin. And somehow, you know, it's like my brother Jim. He is the only semi-normal sibling I've got. Well, him and Steven, my oldest brother. But Steve's so much older than me, we have nothing in common. Love each other, but nothing in common. My brother Jim have a lot in common with each other. Politically, life experience. You know, once he got off drugs and alcohol, man, he became interesting. But I have so much built up hatred for him from my childhood that I can't manage it. And I tried. I'm like, man, I just can't love, you know, I love you, but I can't love you. You know, I can't have you in my day-to-day life because I have too many bad memories of you. My brother climbed up the dresser, it tipped forward, and the typewriter slid off, bounced off his head, and hit the floor. It just, Jesus
Some of
Christ.
y'all just like,
What the fuck was going on in your house, Parrot Head? My brother stabbed me in the right leg with a pencil when I was in middle school and broke it off. When I called my mom at work to tell her, she worked at JCPenney at the time. She answered what are the odds of that? Her name's Penny. Anyway, she answered the phone. Is there more?
Yes.
You better be drying or bleeding. I said, I'm bleeding, and without missing a beat, she asked, you didn't get any. Oh my God. That's a good question, man. You know, if you like, fuck, man. It's like, yeah, when I was a kid, if there was important carpet, brand new carpet, you did not do shit on that carpet in our house, man. And
some of y'all need help. Oh man.
we used to basically play dodgeball with rocks. Oh my God. Now we played war when I was a kid. All the kids at Forest Village. It was a poor neighborhood, like I said. We're poor kids, poor. But you can afford a BB gun. And I played with an M1 helmet that I got from an Army surplus store. My dad got it for me, actually. And a pair of industrial arts goggles that I stole from school. And we would shoot each other. And you would have a team and another team, and we would fight out in the woods. Crazy fucking shit, man. Crazy shit. Yeah, I grew up in the 70s. It's not much different. 80s, 70s.
Yeah.
I was a latchkey kid. We'd walk home. I never rode a bus when I was a kid. We'd walk everywhere. I have fond memories of going to school in Phoenix. But walking home, man, could be scary. Man. Yeah. I'm telling you, man. You get injured, and the first thing I do, like if I cut my hand, I make a fist so I don't bleed all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And then work my way to a sink.
All y'all out there that are like younger than 30, read this stuff. We were tough. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, you know, I was talking about this with my dad when he was a kid. He would go to a work site because my family built houses. That's what we did, you know, and they were going to go work on some houses that day. And my dad went with my grandpa and my uncles, and they worked on this house. And they would grandma would make egg salad and put it in a paper bag for lunch. Wax paper, paper bag. Take it, they'd sit it down. There's no refrigeration. That thing would sit out there until lunchtime. according to doctors, that they shouldn't be eating that. That's how everybody fucking ate back then.
Yep.
Didn't die. In fact, you built up an immunity to things doing that. That's all I got to say about that shit. I had one brother try to stab another brother upstairs. My dad broke the fight up by shoving the brother without the knife. Wow. I'm sure it was accidental because it was probably just pushing him back and his head went through the ceiling. But yeah. Well, he's the one you want to keep safe, so he's probably pushing him to get him out of the way. Yeah, we played war as kid in the woods. Good fun. Yeah, man, war with real BB guns. And once again, Rick Maxfield, God rest his soul, died in 2013. He's one of the 6 friends of mine that have died since 2000 of diabetes.
Wow.
And Rick, motherfucker, was a psycho, dude. Fucking had one of those pump. It looks like a Remington rifle, but it's just a pump BB gun. And the foregrip would pump forward, and you would pull it down and out, pull it down and out, and you would do it. And I was watching him. I watched him doing this, and he's like getting that last pump in. That last pump. Click. And I looked at him and I said, I'm glad we're on the same team. Because I did not want to be hit by that fucking BB. Man. And Rick, we used to, oh man, we were crazy. You know how we were playing fucking tag one night. And we went running through the playground at the apartments. And oh my God, it was dark, and he ran under one of the chin-up bars. There was 3 of them, a short one, medium one, and a tall one. And he went under the medium one, hit him right here.
Oh!
His legs went up. He came down head first on his back of his head, landed, and he let out like this wild animal wail. And we all stopped because we heard the cling. And we all turned and looked at him, and laying there on the ground. And I was one of the closest. I ran up to him, blood just gushing out of his mouth. And he realized his teeth were gone. And we went out there with flashlights for hours looking for his teeth and couldn't find them. I finally said, you must have swallowed him, dude.
Yeah.
And so he was terrified because his mother had told him and his brother Mark not to leave the house. And there was no hiding it. So he tried to hide his injury. I've done the same thing. When I broke my arm, I tried to hide it from my dad. And you know how I gave it up was I started moaning in pain while I was asleep. When you're asleep, man, you give it away. Give it away, give it away, give it away now. And but Ricky, he kept doing this, talking with his hand over his mouth and talking like this. And his mother, Lethe, what a weird fucking name. What a horrifying name. Just sounds like the fucking most evil human being on the planet, Lethe. She was an absolute ass beater. She would beat the shit out of those boys. She chased him out of the house for knocking his teeth out. Hitting him with a fucking broom. She was a screechy woman, too. Christ. I always felt bad because of the ass beatings. But, you know, it also led to a funny one with me because I was at their house. And my dad had found out that Rick was dealing weed. And even though he liked Rick, he didn't want me hanging out at that house anymore. Like somehow I was going to do weed because I had weed friends. I had a lot of weed friends. I just didn't do it. I wasn't interested in it because of my family. So I was up in the apartment one day with them, listening to Kiss, because that's what we would do. We would listen to Kiss together. And then there's a knock at the door, and it's my dad. And I wasn't in the apartment because he was off supposedly with Mr. Cody, who I'm still friends with to this day. He was his best friend. and he came home early. And I'm like, oh shit. And so Mark's like, your dad's at the door. And I'm like, oh shit. And he goes to the door and he's looking and he goes, I'm not dressed yet, Mr. Cassell. Give me a second. Okay. And he looks at me and I'm like, I run to the patio window. And they had sliding glass, no shit. Balcony windows, no balcony. It would slide the whole sliding door, no balcony. But it had a big old fucking rail. I'm like, what is this? I never understood what that was for. And I even asked Mr. Cuddy, like, why was it designed that way? And he goes, don't ask me, Gerry. I wasn't here when it was built. I don't know. And I just talked to him this week. I love that man so much. He was my dad's best friend. And anyway, I looked down and there's this little lady in the bottom apartment and she's doing gardening right below me. And I went up on that rail, 2 stories up, and she's like, looks up at me and I went, would you please move? And I couldn't talk because my dad's at the door. And I leapt out of that 2-story window, my fucking 12-year-old feet, and I landed. And that scene in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade when he misses the horse, you ever have that happen? That was the one time for me.
Oh, no.
I landed, and that thing goes up in your feet, and you go, and I couldn't make a noise. I had to fucking cover my mouth and run, and I'm running in pain, and I haul ass, get back to the apartment, and then Mark answers the door right after I jumped. He answers the door. I'm running up to my apartment, get in the apartment, and go back into my room, and my dad leaves Mark, after Mark says, yeah, Gary's not here. And he gets back to the house, and I'm there drawing in my room. He goes, where the hell were you? I said, I've been here. And he's like, I came in here. I said, I was in the bathroom then. He goes, I went and looked for you in the bathroom. I said, then maybe I went in your room to get some paper. And he just stood there and he didn't know where to go with that one. And I told you to stay away from Mark's. I said, I didn't go to Mark's. Got away with it. But boy, my feet were killing me after that jump. You will risk death not to get in trouble with your parents.
Yes.
When you're a kid, you will fucking risk death not to get caught.
Yeah, but some of y'all took that to a whole new level. I mean, jeez.
My dad wasn't an ass beater. My dad was a knock you in the head guy. The slap from NCIS. That was a big thing with my dad. Fucking bam. The other thing my dad would do is this thing. He denied it. Oh, man, I'm like, motherfucker, you don't get to deny that. Because he had this thing, he would rap me on the side of the head. Like that one knuckle. And you have a nerve plexus on the left and right parietal side of your skull. If you push in, it hurts. Because that's a bunch of nerves coming out of a foramen in your skull to go out over the rest of your skull. And it's a ganglia of fucking nerves. And he would find it. I swear to God, he found it every time. He'd whack me and it would be like, I would make that face like one eye would close and oh. Well, oh man, yeah, my mom used to be one of those wait till your father gets home thing. But occasionally, man, she would have a moment. Like I threatened to run away from home when I was like 5 one day. And that was a fucking nightmare when her reaction to what I said, get your fucking ass back in that room. I hear you one more fucking time. I will. And I was just like, I've never heard my mother cuss. I'd never heard her cuss before. She was having a bad day, I guess. Yeah, I never mess with my mom.
Some of y'all in this room are lucky to be alive.
Oh, dude, and I've told some of you guys. I don't know if you've heard it. For some of the shit my dad did, I had my revenge later. And I used to fuck with him mercilessly. And I think my two favorite pranks I ever pulled on my dad was taking almost a whole year to build up to this one of me being gay. Because I had a gay roommate, and I thought, I'm going to have some fun with this with my dad. Because my dad was very homophobic. And when I say phobic, he was terrified of gay people. He thought every homosexual was a pedophile. It's really the way he grew up in a different era. And, look, Dad, there are pedophiles, and then there are gay people. There are gay pedophiles, but they're not like other gays. And you need to discern. So I spent a year, and I almost gave him a stroke over that one. I'm serious. His lips went blue. They got all cyanotic. And when I saw that his lips go blue, I'm like, oh, Jen, I'm just fucking with you. I still like girls. I like the vag. He goes, you're a son of a bitch. I went, you raised me. And, and then the whole blood thing, because I said, when I moved back to Charleston right after the Army, I was like, I said, I'm so glad we're in the same town now while I'm going to college. I said, because if something happens to me, you can donate blood to me. Or if something happens to you, I can give blood to you. And he goes, you're AB positive? And I went, no, I'm O positive. And he's like, I'm AB positive. I said, no, you can't be, because Mom is A positive. And I have to have the blood type of one of my parents or both of them. That's how you get AB positive or AB negative, is you have a parent with A and another one with B. And it's a law. It's a biological law. You can't, it's impossible to do that. So you have to be O positive. And he goes, I'm not. So he sat there and he got really angry at me. And he's like storming around the apartment looking for something. And I'm like, what are you doing? He says, just, I'll prove it to you. And he's on his arm crutches, walking like an AT-AT in his own living room. Finally, he finds this card on the dining room table under a bunch of papers. And he turns around and he flings it at me like a shuriken. Goes at me, hits right in the chest and flops down on my lap. And I pick it up and I read it. And it's his medical information. And it says that he's AB positive. I already knew he was. Because, I said, Mom's A positive. You have to be O positive, And then I have that card showing he's not. And I sat there and I stared at it for a minute, just stone-faced. And then I looked at him. And then I sat the card down and said, I got to go. I can't deal with this right now. And my dad's like, what do you mean? I said, I just don't want to talk about it, Dad. I got to go. And I left. I was basically telling my dad he wasn't my biological father. Now, I knew what he was going to do. He was going to contact Edgar County Courthouse, ask how to get a copy of my birth records, because he didn't have them. And then he would have to make out a check, put it in an envelope, send it to him. I knew it would take 3 to 4 days to get there. And I knew that it would take a day or two for them to process. And then I knew that it would take another 3 to 4 days for the turnaround for it to get back to him. So I was looking at somewhere around 10 days. I felt I was safe. And I think it was right around the 8th day, my phone rang. And I pick up the phone. Hello? It's my dad. He says, Gerry. I went, yeah. Fuck you, son of a bitch. And hangs up on me. So we didn't have caller ID at the time. So I picked up the phone. I dialed back. And he answered the phone. I said, Dad? And he goes, fuck you, son of a bitch. Hangs up on me again. And I just kept calling, like, what's up, Dad? What's going on? He wouldn't let me fucking finish. He just kept hanging up on me. Finally, I wouldn't even talk. He just lift it up, you hang up, lift it up and hang up, and I finally stopped. And it took weeks before he would take a call from me. You son of a bitch.
You know, we could do an entire show just on the top 3 things that we got ass beatings for.
I wouldn't mind it too. I've gotten my first real ass beating was fucking stupid because I was trying to help, but I was a child and didn't understand that I was doing damage. Because we had one of those fences, no paint fence, and they were painting inside the house, and I love Tom Sawyer. So I took some of the paint outside with a brush, and I started painting the fence. And it's my brother, Stevens, because he was responsible for me. He was supposed to be watching me and didn't watch me, and I did that. But my dad looked at me and he said, boy, I got to beat your ass. I'm going to have to whoop your ass. I'm like, you really have to? He's like, yes. I went, but I'm really sorry. And it's like the ass beating came. It didn't matter. He knew I was sorry. He knew I was trying to help. And he felt awful doing it. But I ruined that part of the fence. They had to pay to have it fixed. So, we do stupid shit as kids, man.
Yeah.
We get our ass beat for it. But, and Christ, I have so many fucked up stories from my childhood, just funny shit.
Well, we got a lot of people here in chat that could join you with
Yeah,
basically
I've been watching.
Jeez.
The neighbor actually called the cops and said there was a ninja in the neighborhood. I was, oh my God, when I look back at what I did once, I terrified college girls as a child. I would hide in bushes outside the apartments there near the campus of Arizona State University, because we had an apartment there. And I'd hide in the bushes. And I learned that how to do, because I love cartoons, right? Mel Blanc, right? Well, I found out how he did the growl. And I had a werewolf mask, and I'd put it on, and I would leave my mouth uncovered, and I would grab this mason jar, big mason jar, and I'd start growling into it. And it echoes, and it sounds really deep and resonating, and even when a kid does it. And I'd hear girls, stop it, it's just messed up, and they'd run. What the hell's in there? What is that? Yeah, I got my ass beat over that. Because one of the girls knew who it was, knew who I was. Pulled me out of the bushes, told my mom, ass beating galore. Stop terrorizing girls. I can't help it. It's fun. Said the future serial killer. No. It's like, because I told you when I got older, I was panicked. I was worried that I was a sociopath because of my inability to feel connected sometimes to people. Mm. But come to find out, it's just, I'm the opposite. I'm very empathic. I have a lot of feelings. I feel people's pain, discomfort, but it causes me to withdraw from them. I put the walls up, and it's like, but scared the shit out of me. I'm like, oh my God, have I mental problems? Maybe that's why I did all that weird shit as a kid.
Jeez, dude.
That's fucking scary. The most I ever did, like, I used a dumbwaiter in one of the houses we grew up in. And I was small enough. I fit in a laundry hamper, and I fit in the dumbwaiter. And whenever we played hide and seek, I would do that shit. If this is before I developed arachnophobia. So, because once I developed arachnophobia, I'd have never gotten in a dumbwaiter. And I'm assuming everybody knows what a dumbwaiter is. Martin, you know what one is? Martin,
I'm sorry, what?
you know what a dumbwaiter is, right?
No.
Okay, that's why I asked. Okay, a dumbwaiter is in some houses, especially Victorian era houses. It's if you have a 2 or 3 story house, it is a little tiny box size elevator that you put things into.
Yes.
And lower it to the next floor down or to the kitchen or the laundry room. And so we had one of those in the house, and I would get into it. They could never find me. I was the best at fucking, because I was so small, you know. And I told you when I was at my grandma's in Phoenix, man, she wouldn't allow us in the house. We had to stay in the backyard, 100-some degrees outside. She'd make us wait 2 hours before she got home. We got off at like 3 o'clock. She wouldn't get home until 5 or 6. And so she would expected us to stay out in that fucking heat. And then my brother found out that I was small enough to fit through the dog door. And I would sneak into the house, unlock the door. Everybody would come in. We'd raid the fridge. Eat everything. I drank ketchup all the time. It was a real I love ketchup, man. And my favorite thing was ketchup burritos as a kid, because our families always had tortillas. And I'd squirt ketchup on a tortilla and eat it. I fucking love that as a kid. Ketchup and mayonnaise sandwiches, too. When you're poor, man, you eat fucking anything. We were poor. Human. And then right around time for her to get off from work, we'd clean up and everybody go out the door, shut the door. I'd lock it and climb back through the dog door, and she couldn't figure out how the fuck we were doing it. How her food was dropping, you know. How I could have sworn that box of, because she always had Nilla wafers, man, always. And we'd eat the shit out of those things. I did in particular. I'd eat 2 at a time. I'd put them back to back together so it was like a flying saucer.
Yep.
Dunk it in milk, eat it. Oh.
Yep. That and saltines. I love saltines. Saltines with peanut butter.
Bye, Penny.
Bye, Penny.
Bye.
Another episode of Ass Beat Theater.
Well, I got to tell you, Dork, when I got older, your taste buds change as you age.
Yes.
Like my mother, she made sauerkraut and not bratwurst, kielbasa. And it grossed me out so much I threw up on the table. I ate some of this, and it was like, "You're gonna eat your damn dinner," and I threw it up. And then she cleaned it up and made me another plate. And I'm like, is this what you want to do? And I did it one more time, threw up, and still wasn't giving up. And she told me I couldn't go to bed until I finished it, and I just didn't eat. And come to find out, it's because our taste buds are different when we're younger. Mm-hmm. We prefer things that are sweet, not so strong. We like things that are very limited, like Sour Patch. It's like I didn't enjoy sour candy until I was an older kid. I was like 8 or 9 when I finally was able to handle sour. But before that, man, it was like really gross. And sauerkraut fits right into that. But years later, I fucking love sauerkraut. I'll eat the shit out of sauerkraut now. Things I didn't even like because I didn't like sauerkraut at all. There's only one thing I can't eat to this day is puffed wheat cereal. Because when we were forced into foster care for a year when I was a kid because of my fucked up family. And the first place we stayed at was a farmhouse, and that's all they fed us morning and lunch was unsweetened puffed wheat cereal.
Oh, that's punishment.
And it was terrible. I hated it. And I can't eat it to this day because of the consistency and how it feels in my mouth.
Sugar Smacks, nothing like it.
Ruined Sugar Smacks for me. I couldn't eat it even now. Yeah, I love Sugar Smacks. Well, that's it. We've gone over almost 2.5 hours. I'm going to end it now.
Another episode of Trauma Theater, everybody.
A mixture of ADD and trauma. Hey, you had a choice to go a lot of places, and you chose to be here. That means you're fucked up. Awesome. Welcome to the club. All right.
Hey, look,
Yeah,
if you're
yeah.
not currently in therapy because of it, that's probably because you grew up in the 60s, 70s, maybe a little bit in
I
the
want to
80s.
take a poll. I want to do a poll sometime. I don't know how to do it yet. I'll have to do a poll. I want to take a poll on which one of you do you think is the most fucked up in the chat, and then who do you think is most fucked up on the show? You know.
Oh, jeez.
But see you later, Dork Knight. I'll see you later, buddy. Take care. Hey, we need to talk sometime today, so don't forget to get a hold of me. Yeah, and you know what? It's really funny, Kingsport Cal. I gotta say, my brother Jim, the one I told you about, shot us with BB guns. You know, he would say shit to me about my dad, and I'm like, look, motherfucker, you had my dad for what, 3-4 years? I lived with him my entire fucking life. The worst he could deliver, he delivered to me alone, without any of you fuckers getting to take it off, a little bit off of me. It was me alone with my dad. So you're bitching about my dad absolutely is rain off a duck's ass with me. You ain't got nothing on me when it comes to shit I went through with my dad. And I'm going to tell you, I own everything in my life. Every problem I've got, I own it. The shit that my dad did to me, no different than what he did to you. And fuck, man, he's a product of his home, his being reared. We're all products of that, and we got to learn how to work with it and be better and do better. And I did that with my daughter, and I'm hoping when she has a kid, she does better. Because Christ knows, man, I did so many things when I was her dad that I said, you're going to need therapy for that later. And I'm half joking, but I'm half like, I'm really worried that what I just said or did, that was, as funny as it was, might fuck you up a little bit. Well, I'm not over there right now. I'm doing a show, Monkey Divas, but I will go look at them after the show. Jesus Christ.
That could be another show for us to do, trauma. Pop Culture Minefields Trauma Theater.
It's like that, there's this channel that I watch, and I love it. It's on TikTok, and it's these two guys telling each other fucked up jokes and not laughing. Like it's a true story.
Yeah.
And they go back and forth. One tells one, the other one tells one, and then it cuts back and forth to both of them going, and that's the end. And I'm like, that's fucking great. We can do the same thing with trauma. I want to thank Awesome One, Brandon McNutt. Hey, what kind of nut did you get? McNutt. That's what I got. Das Wolfen, D. Bud Martin, Dennis McCullough, Dr. Dragon. George Lucas was here. I still don't think that he's owned the sequel trilogy. I think he still denies it. Ironcaster, Keith Movie. Oh, you put Keith in here. He's on the show. Kingsport Cow, Kylock, Lindsay the Cynical Geek, Monkey Chivas, Mr. Trunk, On a Fresh 1994, Parrot Head, Penny, Real Wade Nation, Scribe Light, Secret Circus Podcast, Shinatsky, The Dork Knight, The Lovely Sherry, and of course, the other monkey, War Monkey, and of course, our good friend Zach's Kyle.
And Courtney just joined.
Oh, Courtney is here. Courtney, hi. I haven't seen you in days. Hope you're doing okay. Yeah, we're ending. Yeah, you've got shitty timing. 10 o'clock in the morning Central Time.
Courtney,
Get a watch.
Come on.
Get a watch.
Hey, this might be the one episode you're glad you missed because it was
It's Trauma Theater. But anyway, we're going to get the fuck out of here, guys. Thanks for showing up, everybody. Man, I wouldn't do the show if it weren't for you guys. I'm serious. There's no point to doing this show unless you guys
Some
are
of you
here.
need help.
But yeah,
Some of you
seriously,
guys are
Parrot Head and War Monkey.
Whew.
Therapy, dude. Therapy. It works. Worked for me. Yeah, you too, Courtney. It's good seeing you guys. All right, I'm going to play our outro here. Where's it at? Where's the scoop? The scoop zone. I don't want that one. Here it is. This is our outro. And Martin, I want to thank you, buddy, for being here. I deeply appreciate your existence. And Keith, I love you.
Thank you, man.
Love you,
And,
big man. Hey, Martin,
guys-
take care of yourself, big man.
And we'll say bye to each other after the show. But here comes the credits. Bye, guys.